In this video, we're going to learn how to use the least common multiple and the greatest common factor in context. That means word problems. Make sure you've written this title and the date on the top of your page before you move on. So instead of vocabulary this time, you're going to be writing down some clues for when and how to identify greatest common factor versus least common multiple. So for greatest common factor, your clues are if you are being asked to split something up into smaller sections, to equally distribute two or more sets of items into their largest grouping, or to arrange something into rows or groups. Notice this is all about splitting things up, arranging things, grouping things into smaller pieces. Make sure you have all those things written down before you move on. So let's do an example of a word problem. So Mrs. Evans has 110 crayons and 20 pieces of paper to give to her students. What is the largest number of packs she can make so that each student gets an equal number of crayons and an equal amount of pieces of paper? So if we think about those examples from before, this is one where you have an amount and then you're breaking it up into smaller groups, equal smaller groups. Take a moment and solve this one. Remember, this is a greatest common factor. So you are finding the greatest common factor for these two quantities. Did you start by setting up a cake diagram? If not, pause, do that now. So first thing I noticed is that 10 can go into both, leaving me with 11 and 2. 11 and 2, those don't have any common factors. So there's nothing left for me to do here. And it's okay that I just have one number over here. That number is my GCF. So for my answer for this, I can say that she can make 10 packs. And how much is going to be in each pack? Well, it'll be 11 crayons and 2 pieces of paper. So to recap, I identified which type of problem it was, I made a cake diagram and found the greatest common factor, and then I wrote out my answer in a sentence. All right, now let's talk about least common multiple word problems. So once again, you're going to write these clues down so you can reference them later. So a clue might be if there is an event that's going to be repeating over and over, and you're trying to find where they match up. If you need to purchase or get multiple items in order to have enough for something, or to figure out when something will happen again at the same time. These are all going to be about things repeating or needing to get multiples of them. It's all about repeating sequences of events happening over and over. Pause until you have all this written down and then move on to an example. All right, so Ben exercises every 12 days and Isabella exercises every 8 days. Ben and Isabella both exercise today. How many days will it be until they exercise together again, meaning on the same day? So we know, because this is about time and repeating sequence of something happening, that this is going to be a least common multiple problem. So go ahead and solve this as a least common multiple problem and write out your answer in a full sentence. Pause until you have it done. All right, so hopefully you started by setting this one up as a cake as well. I know that 4 goes into both 12 and 8, leaving me with 3 and 2. And 3 and 2 don't have anything in common anymore. you might have identified the factors differently. You might have said 2 first and then 2 again. That's fine. It'll give you the same answer in the end. Now this time we're doing least common multiple. And when we do that, we have to multiply all the way around like that, not just the numbers on the side. That's for GCF. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to multiply 4 times 3 times 2, and that's going to give me 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. So I will say in 24 days they will exercise together again. And then I didn't ask for it in this problem, but sometimes you'll get that follow-up question of how many times will each of them have exercised since then, or something like that. So you can take a moment and think about whether you can figure that part out. When you're ready, we're going to go ahead and move on to your practice problem. So on your practice problem, I'm not going to tell you which type it is. You're going to have to decide. Are you looking for the greatest common factor or the least common multiple? So, your practice problem. Clover is making gift bags for some of her friends. She has 24 packs of gum and 16 silly erasers. They're like animals and stuff. How many identical gift bags can she make with nothing left over? And what will be inside each bag? So think carefully. Go back and check your notes if you need to. Which type of problem is this? A GCF or an LCM? Once you've decided, solve it carefully and write out your answer in a sentence.